My husband got a paternity test on our daughter, well, because he says that she doesn't look like him. Now he's accusing me of cheating. I swear I didn't cheat. This is what happened. I don't know how it happened. I haven't been able to stop crying all day. I never cheated. I love my husband. We've been together since college and he's the love of my life. He's handsome and kind. While I've slept with 2 other people, both were before we got together. There's no other potential father for our daughter. We were married already and actively trying for a baby. I never cheated. I never would cheat. I don't know why he took that stupid test because I would never ever cheat. But it came back negative and now he thinks he's not their dad. I don't know how to convince him. It was a faulty test. I'm scared. These past few months, it's like he's become someone completely different from the man I married. He's cold and suspicious. He kept demanding to see my phone and would not tell me why. I showed him at first, but eventually told him I would not show him anymore unless he explained why. He's been distant with our daughter too. He stays in his office for hours and hours on end, and I don't know what he's doing. I did not cheat. He accused me this morning, saying he's done the test after realizing that our daughter's eyes are brown and would not naturally come from us since we're both blue, and that he wanted me to get out of the house. I did not leave, and he locked me in our bedroom, and now I'm in our daughter's room. This is terrifying. What should I do? Also, quick edit, the specific advice I want is how I can prove I'm innocent and how to make sure this relationship works. I want to keep my family together at all cost. Also, I just had a conversation with my husband. He's out of his room now, and we discussed some things. I told him again I would never cheat, and started talking about a list I made of tests and I want done. But he told me he did not want to hear it right now. We're going to have a longer conversation tomorrow. He said that he still loves our daughter and he won't try to keep me out of the house or our room for now. I asked him to hug me and he did. I'm scared that I won't be able to convince him. I just want our family to go back to normal. How can I be a good wife and support his needs while proving my innocence? Okay guys, here's the juicy update. Hi everyone, first off, I want to thank everyone who reached out. My original post got so much attention. It was hard to get to everything, but I ended up making a list of plans and tests that I want to get done. My husband was understandably distrustful of me for a while, but he apologized for the way he acted, which I didn't need, and said that he would not try to kick me out of our home. He did say, though, that if every test came back I cheated, then he was going to, quote, go scorch earth. We did a few tests, blood paternity tests for him and me and our daughter, and we had an appointment with a chimerism, a specialist, coming up. But that got canceled because, well, some of you guessed it, but my daughter is not biologically mine either. I don't know how this happened, but a police officer came to our house and took our statement, and we're suing the hospital where I gave birth. I don't know what happened to my baby, and this is terrifying. I have my husband back, but my whole world was upended. I just wish he did not take that stupid test. I've been sleeping in my daughter's room, and I'm so afraid that she's going to be taken from me. But at the same time, I want to know where my bio daughter is, and if she's okay. I pray to God she's okay. My daughter still does not know the details, and we've been trying to keep this quiet. The last thing we need is a big scandal. I don't want people who know us to look at her differently. She deserves better than that. She's such a good kid. She's not some spectacle to be gawked at. If we can find her birth family, I have no idea what we'll do. I guess the best case scenario would be to get a bigger house and all live together. But I don't know if we can afford that or if they'd even go for it. or even if we'll be able to locate them, or if I'm just crazy. This whole situation is crazy. I don't know anyone else who's been in a situation like this. I mean, are there support groups for parents or kids who got mixed up? I Googled and found nothing. Literally, all I'm getting are tabloid articles from trashy magazines that slap the faces of innocent kids on the same pages as celebrity sex scandals. And fiction. How do we tell our daughter? I mean, we can't tell her now. She'll tell the kids at school, and then it'll be everywhere. But we have to say something. I don't know what I ever did to deserve this. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So, OP's husband was being hardcore bashed in the comments. So, OP decided to get the husband's perspective on everything. That's what I'm going to narrate next, is the husband's perspective. Here we go. So, I don't know how many of you have been down a self-doubt rabbit hole before, but it's not the most logical place to be. It's even less logical when you have the whole damn internet telling you that your wife is cheating, and that she's planning to take the house and take you for all you're worth, and never really loved you, and you always sort of thought she was too good for you anyways. So, you end up seeing everything as a sign of infidelity, and then you get not one, but 2 failed paternity tests on your daughter. When COVID happened, I got fat. I got depressed. I stopped feeling like a person. My wife stayed beautiful. She stayed herself. I was sure that she made a mistake, that she'd regret being with me. I started getting into some online groups, especially on Reddit, that were full of guys who've been cheating on, lost custody, and basically lost everything. And when someone said this tip-off was that he and his wife both had blue eyes, and their son had brown, I felt ducking stupid. I did not want to jump to conclusions, but when I made a post about my fears, everyone said she was cheating. People said not to say anything because she'd use that to hide her cheating and get ahead of me on the divorce. I got the test and I did not really think it'd come back negative. Then it did. I did not want to believe it, but yeah, I pulled back. I felt betrayed. I wanted to be a good husband, but I could not shake this. I tried to find evidence of an affair and failed. I got another test. When that one was also negative, I snapped. If you've ever been cheated on, you know what it feels like. When my wife denied it, I got angrier. I just wanted her to leave. I did not want to go through what everyone seemed to think was going to happen. I did not want to lose custody of my child. I did not want to lose my house. I was scared. And, well, to be honest, angry. I wanted the truth. I felt like if she could not even be honest, there's no getting past this. I took a few hours to calm down, and when she came back with a list of tests to take, I tried to keep my cool. I tried to keep my cool for so long. I know I was wrong about the affair, but so was everyone else in my ear. My kid is genuinely not my biological daughter. I did not immediately consider that switched at birth was an option. I've been through a messed up time, and I don't think getting angry one time because I thought my wife cheated and lied makes me a monster. When I started reading this story, I thought for sure the wife cheated. I mean, the test came back multiple times negative, but little did we know it was going to get a lot worse. I cannot believe they lost their bio child at birth due to a hospital mix-up. Let me know if you know anyone who's ever been through a situation like that. I could not even imagine what I would do. Our next story, it's about a mother-in-law who oversteps her boundary at the wedding. And let me just say, this one might be the wildest entitled mother-in-law I've ever seen. So, this is a story about my sister-in-law's mother that happened just over 8 years ago. My sister-in-law brought this up during a family Zoom call, to which one of my nieces immediately asked me to write it up here. It's taken a few days since the call to get it all typed. I've ended up with a monster wall of text, but I tried to cut a lot out. Here's the cast. This will be myself, Alice, who's the sister-in-law, Helen, who is Alice's mother, our entitled mother of the story, Ron, Alice's husband, and my brother, Fred and George, two of my other brothers. To set this scene, the wedding was set to happen on a farm run by my Aunt Rose. This farm is set to be photo-ready for wedding and events that people wish to have there. It comes with a hefty price tag for the rental, and for her gift to Ron and Alice, Aunt Rose donated the venue and the on-site lodge for all the guests. Her children donated their time to clean and set the venue up. Her husband donated his cooking ability. Other family members provided the ingredients, and there wasn't a whole lot for the bride and groom to actually pay for. The wedding dress was made by Alice, her sister, and two of her cousins. The most expensive thing the pair purchased were the rings. Most people would be happy to spend so little for a wedding, but the mother of the bride was a problem from day one. She had to have her say in everything, just no one listened. It wasn't her day, it was Alice's day. She got progressively more angry as the family went with Alice's choice and not her ideas. Alice got to design everything, including the wedding cake. Due to her own allergies, she did not want any coconut on her cake. Pretty straightforward request, right? She had plans for a beautiful naked cake decorated with berries and a very nature-based look. The family adored Alice, but it was very clear that without needing to say anything, we all tuned out Helen and her terrible demands. Alice had ordered sunflowers and an array of orange and yellow roses, and other flowers. They arrived before the rehearsal dinner and were put in a walk-in fridge, just to keep them looking fresh and good for the following day. Helen got very emotional when she saw the flowers that night. Fred said he had a bad feeling in his gut when Helen just went off before the rehearsal started. He did not get to stop her or catch her, but she's gone into the kitchen and snapped the heads off all the sunflowers. Helen did not want sunflowers in her daughter's wedding photos. To not stress out the bride or groom, Fred put a text out to the family that had supplied the flowers. He explained that he left the rehearsal about 6 minutes after Helen had and found the sunflowers all beheaded. The family members agreed to replace all of them and come over extra early before the wedding with the needed flowers. She also requested that he have the sunflower heads and keep them, and they could do something with the beheaded ones on the dining table for the reception. Crisis number 1 averted. However, while Fred was dealing with the sunflowers, I was dealing with another crisis altogether. Helen was standing off to the side of the events after finishing the meal. She was on the phone, and like my brother, I found a feeling of wrongness in my gut, so I wondered to listen. She was talking to her husband, Alice's stepfather, on the phone. She was saying what a great surprise this would be for Alice, and how excited Alice would be to see her stepfather. I stepped into Helen's space and told her point blank, if that man showed up, he would be leaving with more holes than God intended. Helen scoffed off the threat until she saw the look in my eyes. She told her husband she would call him back before hanging up. She told me that she could invite her husband. After all, it was thanks to him Alice even met her future husband. She would be so thrilled to have him walk her down the aisle instead of Alice's own father. It was only right after all. Who wouldn't want someone who abused them so badly then ran away and got rescued by a stranger at their wedding? I looked over my shoulder and made eye contact with George. He sensed the brewing trouble and responded the way only George ever responds. He brought her a fruity sweet drink and asked her if there's a problem. She drank down the drink as she told him her woes and how I was so cruel to her. He patted her arm and took her off to the side where he proceeded to keep her glass very full. I went and warned my uncle to shut the gate prior to the wedding, and when he found out what was going on, he insisted we would keep one of his sons by the front gate just in case. The party was winding down as the bride and groom separated for the evening. George kept filling up the woman's glass, talking to her as if he was the most sympathetic person to her woes. The drunker Helen got, the more she spilled. She admitted about the sunflowers because they were such an ugly flower, and her daughter just didn't know better. However, about drink number 4, she admitted that she fixed the stupid cake she'd seen in the fridge. George acted like he hated the cake as well to get out what he could from her, as he found out about this woman and her wanted need for coconut, the thing her daughter was allergic to. Badly allergic to. Turned out she had bought a few tubs of coconut frosting from the store and spread it over the base cake layer. It was around 3 a.m. when this revelation came out. George kept piling over his drinks as he led her towards the room she was staying in. He told the family via text to check the cake immediately. Once he got her into bed, with the plan to let her just sleep through the morning, she blabbed about how bland the food had looked and she made it all better. Then she passed out without further explanation. All the food was being inspected by the family as Aunt Rose, her husband and kids set to work with the siblings to fix everything. The cake needed to be remade. The poorly spread coconut frosting had completely ruined the cake. Family members were woken up while the bride, groom, and wedding party were left alone to sleep. George said he would keep an eye on Helen and fix things with her husband. He was going to send the man somewhere completely different from the wedding venue. The family came together with 12 cars, leaving the ranch to go home for various replacements. There was a berry hunt at 4 in the morning, new fish, new bread being made, and a new order of steaks being tenderized and marinated, along with a dozen other things. One of my cousins was digging up a new sweet potato, while his wife and son gathered fresh eggs. Cars came and went all night long. I told Alice her mother was sleeping off a hangover, while she was getting dressed for the day, and she accepted it rather quickly. She's been told by some of her family that she had to invite her, as she tugged her stockings up. She told me she could not believe her wedding was here. She was getting to marry her Prince Charming and Ron, and she was trying not to cry before her makeup was done. Helen missed the wedding despite her sister and her other daughter trying to wake her up. I'm glad to say Alice was in the dark about what happened on her wedding day, until she came back from her honeymoon, who told her what Helen had done. Why, it was Helen herself who told. Helen screamed at her daughter the first day they returned from the honeymoon, and told her how disappointed she was with the wedding she slept through. She wanted Alice to dress in the wedding dress and take photographs with her mother and her stepfather. Ron put a stop to that real fast. No way was her stepfather ever coming near her again. Helen was blocked, and Alice tried to figure out what all happened at the event in those wee morning hours. We told her with everyone coming forward with what they've done while the couple slept and rested for the wedding day. Alice thanked us all, and Ron told everyone at the next family get-together that she could not understand how we've been so calm about it. Aunt Rose told her what the crisis you can't lose focus on. Make a plan, follow through, and things will work out right. Alice took that advice to heart. She's a wedding planner now, and she is a stonewall for bridges against their mothers or any influence besides the husband. It is their day, and that's it. Everyone else can shut up and listen to the bride and groom. Well, guys, this might have been one of the most entitled mothers I've ever read about. Let's give a quick shout out to the guy that interfered with this mother during the whole wedding and kept feeding her alcohol after alcohol just so she'll pass out and leave everyone alone. Shout out to him. Guys, that's all the content I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, the best way to support me is so simple. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the stories daily. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.